This is a sort of a mini marathon of speedruns on easy for Twisted Metal 2 that I made mostly consecutively in one day. I'm using Twister, Shadow, Thumper, and Minion in that order. This is my first time using OBS, so the timer is off a little bit here because I was going by the on my TV screen instead of the computer screen. The reason I'm picking these three characters, first is that most speedruns are done with Axel for his ramming power, but I wanted to show off what other characters can do besides Axel, and then I'll do a Minion run because that's just a different category. So Twister is a very difficult but underrated character in Twisted Metal 2. And head-on, she's great. She can drive by and carry her opponents in her special and just keep moving. Like what you're seeing here. In 2, she needs to come to a near complete stop to grab her opponents, which makes her vulnerable, as she has the second lowest HP in the game. I already had to go look for health. And it doesn't help that she can damage herself in her special as well. But her secret is that she also has the fastest cooldown rate of all the specials in the game, and it doesn't throw the opponent away like it does in head-on. So you can use 3 specials consecutively against opponents, and there's nothing they can do about it. It's practically an instant kill combo against the entire main cast, unless, actually, especially if you include energy commands with it, like mines. So, what I'm doing here is I'm finding someone who's stopped or moving slow. If I can, preferably more than one person if they're in groups. Because, much like in head-on, she can grab more than one person with her spin. When I get to someone, I activate my special. Then very slowly, I have to back up and lay down energy mines with right, left, down command. And as I back up, the opponents in my tornado spin trip the mines and take additional damage. It's hard to consistently do this, but it's possible to do up to 2 mines per special. Like you can see my my energy going down. You can't really see the mines themselves, but you can see my energy going down gradually. Like right there, I just killed Warhog with a mine that I laid down. So it is possible to get 2 per special, and when you can use 3 in a row, that's 6 mines, potentially, on top of 3 specials. So she's also the fastest character of the game, it's worth noting, but yeah, her health is very low, so she can get away with it, but... So once you're out of specials during this combo, you or specials or energy, you run away and just repeat the process. You just use her speed just to keep moving, stay away, dodge all the missiles you can, because again she's the fastest character in the game, and then drive around to rack up a few specials. It takes about 25 seconds each. And regain energy and then continue. Repeat the process and just instant kill as many people as you can with one combo. Mr. Grimm doesn't even need one. He just doesn't need one Twister special and then just finish him off with some missiles and machine guns. He has the lowest health in the game. See if I can get multiple people here. I do get Grasshopper and Outlaw in the same special. Outlaw is a nuisance when you get close, because she spams her taser, so I try to be quick against her and just try to get in quick and possibly shield against her. You can react If you get hit by her taser, you can react and shield her second hit. So she only does half damage. Lightning I just use only works on the bridges, unfortunately, so I don't think I got anybody with that. More shielding because I'm low on health. This stage is really bad for Twister, Moscow, because she doesn't have much room to move. She's a speed character, and there's not much health, so, and she desperately needs it. I usually lose a life with her on this stage, but it's a little easier on the next stages. Here's Thumper. Thumper is a huge threat. That right there, that flamethrower does a ton of damage. It's super damaging. If he activates it when he's in my tornado, it drains my health super quickly, so I have to either shield him like I'm doing right now, just a shield to make sure he does not hit me with his flamethrower, or I just attack him from afar, using just missiles and standard weapons. So overall, I think Twister is mid-tier or so. Absolute lowest I can think is lower mid. There's a lot of characters that have more trouble than her. She's just a powerhouse of damage overall. But yeah, she is very difficult to not die. So I did hit Mr. Grimm with a mine, and he's already dead. Well, almost dead. Axel is also a threat, because if you get close to him, he spams his shockwave, which pops you up. So he can spam it. Like right there, he hit me with shockwave while I was spinning him. He can spam that, and it's really annoying. Luckily, he kind of behaves on this run. Slam. Twister has a really good positive matchup against Mr. Slam, who I also think is mid-tier, because Slam, his startup is so long that you can just spin him on reaction. And even if you don't have a spin, Twister is so fast that like it's really hard for Mr. Slam to catch up with you, or even land his special. See, it takes so long. Hammerhead's pretty much a pushover. He's his special is just a glorified ram. Okay, so I lay down 2 mines with that special, but I'm not going to bother laying down mines because she's dead. Remember, I do take damage if, by my own special, if the car I'm spinning collides with me. That's a very big downside to her, and that's why she's not higher on tier list. So that's why I had to go for... I had to shield myself and then go for health before I actually fought Spectre. I did forget to hit the timer on that. Again, this is my first time using it for speedrun. So Amazonia has the lava that burns you over time as you go over it. So I can't afford to be on it for very long. Right now I am taking damage. I'm slamming him against the wall, which Does a little bit of damage for him, but a little more damage against me as well. So I'm already close to half health. And Spectre just killed himself by spending too much time in the lava. So then need to finish him off. I underestimated how far I would go with that jump. I need to avoid the lava. There's one mine and two mines. Shadow is very low on health now. Third mine, that killed him. Special is so freaking good. Remote bombs are always useful, especially if you can get away from it fast, like Twister can. So the ricochets have pushback, so in that case I push him back into the lava, so he is taking damage. Warthog is taking extra damage from that. He has the highest health in the game outside Minion, so it's not going to affect him too badly like an Spectre, but it's something. Just playing it safe here. It does take a lot of bullets to open up the tunnel, but it does give you a full health, and I do kind of need that right now, especially with Thumper. Thumper, again, is probably the biggest threat to Twister. So right there I have the shield. He as per usual, he activated his flamethrower while I was spinning him. That uses a lot more energy than the mines, so I only use it if I absolutely have to. That was an accident. I think Warthog may have thawed and tripped over the bomb as I laid it. So that did cost me a few seconds. Having to respawn. So here's the Minion fight. Not too challenging with Twister, as long as she can freeze Minion before he freezes her. I did not get a very good spawn location right there. I do have to travel across the bridge to get to him. There's one mine, two mines. Actually, I may have missed them on that, but so Minion does not go down in 3 spins. I still need to I'd use a 4th right there, and I'm going to have to leave briefly. That remote bomb did a ton of damage against him. Remote bombs are very powerful. So that was just a power missile and a ram that took him out. So 14:21 is good, but I've done better in the past. Regardless, that is the fastest run so far in easy when you exclude Axel and Minion. I am making cuts in the video for when I just reset the timer. There were a few failed attempts also involved here as well that I removed from the recording. So the next one I'm using is Shadow. Shadow has mostly average stats. He's basically the median for health and speed, top speed. His special is what makes him good. I would say he's in the top 5 at least. He can stack up to 5 specials instead of 3, like Twister, and it also has a very fast cooldown. Not as fast as Twister, but they still stack quickly, especially when you get 5. And you can see how low Twister's health is. The way his special works is it's a straight shot projectile that needs to be detonated when it's near someone. And then it does a area of effect damage, so you can see I just hit 2 people twice in a row. So it hits multiple people and it pops up, so it is spammable. Popping up usually either slows them down or puts them at a halt. They can't control themselves in the air. As you can see, I'm using a lot of these specials. The downside to Shadow's special is that it moves slowly. So he can't really do it while driving at full speed. He has to either slow down or come to a complete stop when he fires it. You can see that's what I'm doing right now. So in that respect, he is kind of like Twister. Very powerful special. It can't be involved in a combo. It doesn't really catch you in like a vortex. Proverbial vortex, not literal. Like a Twister is a literal vortex. He's not as vulnerable as Twister though. He's got more health. I am keeping my distance from Outlaw. Again, I do not want to get caught up in her taser. She can spam that. The AI spams it. The player, when you control Outlaw, her special's on a long cooldown, so it's not as spammable. It's also worth noting that I don't know if I mentioned it, but Shadow's special can hurt himself too, so you got to be far enough away, which makes it a little bit more challenging because you have to time when to detonate it from afar. You gotta like really predict where someone's gonna be. On easy difficulties, it's not that hard. The AI moves pretty slowly. So Moscow, by contrast with Twister, Moscow is really good for Shadow because this may have been a glitch, but it seems kind of oddly specific to be a glitch. This is useful. If you detonate his special when it's on an incline, it actually does additional damage. Again, I'm not sure if it's a glitch. It's weird. But it's something to strategize around when you're playing Shadow. It actually makes the special really, really high damage. I don't think it doubles it, but it makes it pretty overpowered. And Moscow, the reason Moscow is great because so much of it is on an incline. Let's see. I didn't get on incline there, but right here, that did almost half of Thumper's health by being on an incline. I just have to hit him with one missile, and Thumper will be dead. So, ordinarily, Shadow Special would do maybe a quarter of his health. I think it's more closer to a fifth of his health. So yeah, maybe his. I'm not sure of the exact numbers, but I think it may actually be closer to twice the damage. This is really lucky. I just got 2 people in the same vicinity with my specials. One of them died, and the last one I just finished off with machine guns. Sweet Tooth has high health, so it takes a few specials from Shadow to take him down. Not even gonna chase him. Kind of sucks that I'm kind of stuck with the lightning. I did change my weapon layout. I should have done that earlier with when I was playing as Twister as well, but didn't think about it. This layout in the bottom right corner shows all of the weapons I have in my inventory. Way more useful. I recommend it to anybody who's been playing the game enough to know what the specials look like, or the weapons look like. And here's Hammerhead. He's very slow. I think most people agree he's the worst character in the game. He's not unviable, he's just very slow, doesn't have the armor and damage to make up for it. Grasshopper, a lot of people at first glance think Grasshopper is the worst in the game because her stats are the worst, but she's actually a lot better than people give her credit for. Not nearly as bad as a Hammerhead, in my opinion. Again, with Axel, I kind of want to keep my distance. I do not want to get caught in the shockwaves. A little close for comfort. I did damage myself with that remote bomb, so I will need to get health. Just a moment. See if I can take out Twister. Axel, sorry. Napalms are a little bit tricky. You gotta kind of gauge the distance. They're not too far or difficult. They're not that difficult to aim like they were in Twisted Metal 3. That was kind of the big letdown in Twisted Metal 3 was they really screwed up the weapons in that game. This one is possible. You can definitely get used to it and gauge how far the napalm's going to go, but it does take practice. That was a direct hit with an napalm. That is 2 in a row. That's kind of what you want to aim for when you're using it. So, like I mentioned before, I am trying to shield Outlaw's second hit from the taser, and I did just try to hurt myself with my own special, just to kind of take out Outlaw. She's rough when you get close to her. The pop-up really hurts you. Amazonia is also really good for Shadow because of all the inclines. You're gonna see me do that a lot. There's only one incline in Paris. It's just that ravine, so I couldn't really take advantage of it. That's why I took part of the reason it took 4 minutes instead of 2 or 3. Not sure if I landed that on the incline. I did right there. Yep, that both hits were on an incline. That's why Thumper went down so quickly. See what I can do against Outlaw here. So, I shielded myself not just to shield myself from her taser, but also to just lay down the remote bomb, immediately detonate it, and normally that would hurt me a whole lot, but I shielded myself from it. That's a normal strategy that goes with anybody. I just took a lot of damage from Twister. Again, this is why I love Twister, but she's tough. She went down really easy. Warthog is kind of the anti-Twister, where he's his damage is just okay, but his health is so high that he just survives. And I just lose life. That's kind of unfortunate that I gave up a lot of my weapons. I think that was because I took lava damage. It's okay though. You get 2 lives, 2 extra lives, and we're almost done here. There's Warthog not doing much because all he does is kind of survive. I think he's pretty high tier, but he's not much of a threat. So I already have 3 specials. That's not going to be enough to kill a minion, but if I get him on an incline, it'll do good amount of damage. I also want to freeze him if I can. There's 1, 2, and 3 on an incline. That's perfect. If I hadn't missed my first shot, might have gotten him much quicker. That's 1343. That's even better than 1421 with Twister. That's why Shadow is very good. So now I'm going to use Thumper. In my opinion, Thumper is top tier, along with Axel. That's not including Minion. Minion is obviously the very top. He's a boss character. Thumper, like Shadow, has average speed and HP. I think they're very close. They have the same HP, but they very close to each other in terms of speed. Right there, that's his flamethrower, that's his special. This is by far the most damaging special in the game. It's hard to land without assistance, but if you freeze them, that's what we call the freezer burn combo. It's pretty much guaranteed to get all your damage if you freeze them. And that's almost an instant kill against most of the cast with one special. And even the ones that don't die from the entire special, you can easily pick off with just a little bit of damage from missiles and standard weapons. You'll notice the first two people I took out were Warthog and Sweet Tooth. Those are the two characters with the most HP. And they're like nothing to Thumper. That's a downside to Mr. Slam. He is very popular. People really love the damage, the insane damage that he does with his front loader. But it can be shielded on reaction. The big downside to playing it. Now here is the downside to playing Thumper. To balance out the damage that that he does with his flamethrower, it has the longest cooldown time of all the characters in the game. So I do have to rely on standard weapons for most of the game. It's just that when I do get my special back, it's almost guaranteed instant kill, and I just got to be smart about it. Just got to make sure that I freeze them, or they're just completely stop and not going to be able to fight me. There's full health. Grasshopper took that full health. That would be kind of bad. I would have to kill her all over again. Last one is Twister. Again, low health. Thumper is kind of her nemesis in this game. You'll notice that because she's on fire, she was taking damage just by having me in her tornado. That's another thing that makes the special so good, is that even when you're done burning them with your special, they're still on fire and they're taking continuous fire damage unless they turbo it off. So it's important to have as much turbo as you can if you're going against a Thumper. Sweet Tooth's already dead. I don't have any weapons, so I just gotta go running. That does hurt Thumper's chances at a speed run a little bit. The way that he just has to wait to rack up specials. But out of all the specials, his does so much damage that it makes up for time you lose. Get out of there, pick up some weapons. I'm gonna save Mr. Grimm for later. I'm gonna focus more on Roadkill right now. I do take fire damage from the napalm when I fire close at point blank. I'm at very low health, but that doesn't matter because Mr. Grimm goes down in one freeze missile. So, I will say this, that his special can be shielded. It's not like Twister where if you get caught in it, you're screwed, you just gotta take the damage. It is kind of more like a Outlaw or Mr. Slam where you can shield it, but it does so much damage over such a short amount of time that it's not easy to shield it on reaction, so that does not really affect his standing. Doesn't make him any worse. I did not freeze Spectre. That did cost me a little bit of damage, but I did bring him down to half health. So he's almost dead. It's fine. I am completely out of turbo. I gotta find some really quick, or else I will not be able to lose fire damage. Thumper should go down right here. Didn't get the full damage, I think, but machine gun pushes her off. Don't know what Shadow was doing. He was fishtailing. That was weird. One strategy that is worth mentioning is to be smart about who you use your flamethrower on. Use it on someone who has high health or full health, ideally. You don't want to waste it on someone who's already close to dead. And in Thumper's point of view, close to dead is still half health. This is kind of weird. Occasionally there's a glitch where someone who's on the roof, who spawns on the roof of Paris, is going to stay there for a while, unless you force them down. That takes away a little bit of time. Let's see if I can, yeah, it was a hammerhead that was on the roof, and he looks like, because I got onto the rooftop, he came down. Yeah, I don't need a flamethrower to finish him off. So here is a tactic that's important for Amazonia, especially with Thumper. I have all of my lives left at this point. So once I use up all of my specials, I'm just gonna kill Mr. Grimm right there. I didn't even need to freeze him, that's how low his health is. So yeah, once I use up both my specials here, I'm going to intentionally let myself die. I'm going to use up this special too. And I'm going to do this twice. I'm going to not necessarily kill myself, but basically get myself killed. What that does is it's going to make me respawn, which takes, you know, maybe adds 5 to 10 seconds to my time. But I just respawned and now I have 2 specials. So normally I would have to wait a minute and a half to get that special back. Actually, just one of those specials back, and now I have 2. So I basically saved what amounts to almost 3 minutes. It's probably not that much because I can also still fight with standard weapons, but it speeds up the process so much. I missed a couple homing missiles. I wasn't sure where roadkill was. That was my mistake. So Grasshopper just landed in the lava. She's going to be taking, yeah, she's already taking a lot of damage. I just froze her there. Just finished her off really quick. I took a lot of damage by being in the lava as well, but not nearly as much as it does against Grasshopper. Her armor is low. So I'm going to use, I got frozen, but I am going to try to freeze Minion, then use both my flamethrowers on him, like so. I'm going to let him kill me. He is not doing anything because this is easy mode. That's why there's only half the levels in this mode. Okay. So, now I get back 2 flamethrowers, and that should finish them off really quick. That's 14 minutes on the dot. So all 3 of these runs have been the fast speed runs on speedrun.com for easy when you exclude Axel and Minion. That is so far. I hope that shows how these characters can be utilized. These 3, Twister, Shadow, and Thumper, I think are underrated and can absolutely be used for speedruns. If you look at the speedrun page as it is right now, it looks like 15 Axels and then like 2 Mr. Grimms and a Mr. Slam at the bottom. So I'm looking to hopefully diversify the cast a little bit in the speedrun category. So now I'm doing a Minion run. Not much to say about Minion here. Most of what I have to say is, me big tank, me ram puny cars go boom. He's the boss character, so he has his own category, since he's, not just because he's so powerful, but because he doesn't have to fight himself at the end of Amazonia. So that does give him an unfair advantage for speed running. As I said, his ram power is what makes him so fearsome. Not just the fact that he has by far the highest health. He also got pretty high speed on par with Outlaw, and his special is not the most powerful special in the game. I'd say Thumper, Slam, and Mr. Grimm, possibly Twister, all have higher damage specials, but it is very, very powerful, especially when you consider the ram damage. One tactic I should mention is that when you do use his special, you got to use it from afar. The freeze missile comes out a bit high, so if you do it up close, point blank, only the missiles are going to hit. The freeze missile will not. It's just going to go over their heads. So you want to be far enough away that the freeze comes down a little bit and gives the full damage. It does make a difference. So yeah, I'm just mindlessly kind of ramming people. That is also what makes Axel so good. I should kind of discuss why Axel is the most popular for speedruns and why I think he is top tier. I don't know if he's as good as Thumper. Maybe he is better. Nobody really has a clear idea what the tier list really looks like, but I kind of have just my own idea. The reason Axel is so good is partially because of this ramming power. I don't think it's as absurd, absurdly damaging as Minion's is. He's not as big. But it's much higher than any other car has a right to be. I think they were originally going to be including Darkside from Twisted Metal 1, who had a very weak special, but they gave him a ramming power just to make up for it. That's a Twisted Metal 1. I guess time constraints, they did not get to include Darkside in this, so they gave the ramming advantage to Axel. And frankly, he didn't need it. He was already pretty good without the ramming. He has been really behaving. He has not been spamming his Shockwave special. What the Shockwave does, it pops you up. It's spammable. It doesn't do that much damage, but the fact that it's so spammable and I think it's got a fairly low cooldown. He can spam it. He can ram you and then spam the Shockwave after Shockwave. And there's not much you can do about it. It can hit multiple people like Twister. It's an AoE. So on top of that, he's got fairly high armor. Axel is just very, very good. He has very few weaknesses. That's also something I maybe should mention about ramming, is that if you just kind of consistently nudge them, it's not going to do much damage. You do have to kind of back up and go at a faster speed. Yeah, if you notice, I did fire my special and it went over Axel's head. Axel is a pretty big character. Like a Sweet Tooth special has a problem where it oscillates up and down, so it's, even if you're on points, there's a chance it'll go over the low riding characters like Thumper, or smaller characters like Twister or Spectre. And even Shadow gets utterly destroyed by his ram. Ultimately, his Minion special is basically Warthog special, but with the freeze that does extra damage. So if you don't land the freeze, it's not much different than Warthog's pre-home missiles. special against a grasshopper. So this is the last level. Again, this is why Minion is in a different category. He does not have to fight a boss after Amazonia. As soon as I kill six characters in this, the game's over. I guess Minion does have a disadvantage of being so big that it's a little bit harder to maneuver. That doesn't make him any more unbalanced, but again, it's just something to acknowledge. He's not, I guess I would say he's, I don't know, I would say he's not as easy to use as Warthog or Spectre, because they're specials have really good utility, but overall it's so easy just to, you don't even need to be thinking to do well with Minion. Picking up a couple weapons from the island here. I don't need the health. Just a couple rams took out Outlaw. Shadow's all that's left. Game's about to end right here. That's it. 909. Alright. Thank you guys for watching, and hope you enjoyed it, and hope you learned something about Twisted Metal 2.